Hey guys, First Regardsman here, and today I'll be talking about a Power Sword Overcharge build for the Assault class in the patch 11.0 public test server. Now, if you're unaware, the Overcharge perk in the current live game for patch 10.0 is bugged to only work with the Thunder Hammer, but now in the patch 11.0 update, we will be having this fixed to actually work with all weapons, which means the Power Rake on the Power Sword can finally reach max damage once again. Now, the variant I've chosen here today is the Block Power Sword because this one is still the most damaging option of all the Power Sword variants, even over the Xenophase Blade with its Ancient Technology perk. Adrenaline Surge charges are just amazing in Space Marine 2, so the Block Power Sword is still the best. Now, for the perk tree on this, I do take Armored Strength first. If you have armor remaining, melee damage increases by 10%. Moving here into the perk Master of Offense. After switching your sword combat style, you deal 20% more melee damage for 5 seconds. Cooldown is 10 seconds. Now, this actually has great synergy with a newly buffed perk on the Assault here, Active Attrition. Enemies hit by damage from melee attacks executed while sprinting or dashing take 25% more damage for 5 seconds. Usually, you will trigger Master of Offense off of a sword combat style switch into a lunge attack, so you get that active attrition buff on top of the 20% melee damage buff for 5 seconds from this into a power rake. Pretty good combination there, so I like to pick this one up. Next perk here is Perpetual Strength, moving down here into Perpetual Strength once again for a 10% melee damage increase. Then we grab the perk here, Tranquility, which is really not that strong at all. It's kind of redundant with Adrenaline Boost. We have to pick it up to move into the next perk here, Melee Onslaught. This weapon deals 10% more melee damage, pretty self-explanatory. We have to pick this one up to go into Hard Target. Moving here into the most important perk of all, Cutting Edge. Power Rake deals 50% more melee damage. This perk is incredible. Power Rake is by far the most damaging attack on the Power Sword besides the Power Whirl attack, but Power Whirl doesn't actually benefit from Overcharge at all, so this one is the best for our build here by far. And overall, Cutting Edge just a way better perk than the perk up here, Reeling Blow. This one needs like a serious buff to ever possibly compete with this perk here, so you pretty much always pick this one up. Final perks I grab are Extremis Slayer, Majora Slayer, and of course Terminus Slayer, and I would also grab Power Restoration or Speed Restoration. I know I have my Nora Slayer selected here, but I wouldn't actually take this on a block variant, so I would pick up one of these instead. That's pretty much all there is for the Power Sword setup here. Now, for the secondary, I do take the Relic Tier Bolt Pistol Firepower variant. Now, in patch 11.0, all the bolt pistols now have an equivalent gun strike damage to the heavy bolt pistol here, which is kind of absurd because really this gun also got a base damage increase, which means its DPS loss is like 5% below a heavy bolt pistol, but the upsides of this thing are a better ammo economy on its ammo reserve option, better recoil control, a better perk tree for things like Elite Hunter, which is 50% more headshot damage on a melee finisher, which is pretty insane. And honestly, this is by far the best version of these two weapons, or excuse me, the best option of the two bolt weapons in your secondary selection. And overall, it's probably the second best secondary in the entire game, arguably, maybe even the best over the Rate of Fire Plasma, because Rate of Fire Plasma is really strong, but the ammo economy on this thing and the headshot damage of Elite Hunter is so intense that, to be honest, with like the fixed headshot multipliers on Chaos and stuff like that, it could be even better than the Rate of Fire. The only thing you're really lacking on this is Stagger, so for that, this could definitely be better. But, you know, if you want to pick this one up, in like all cases for Chaos and Tyranids, you definitely could. Very strong option on all variants. Now, for the perk tree, like I said before, we just go all the way down the top tree for things like Headhunter and, of course, Elite Hunter. After killing a Majora's level or higher enemy with a melee weapon, headshots deal 50% more damage for 10 seconds. This perk is simply incredible. You can trigger this off a melee finisher, and to actually have this one trigger, you do have to have your secondary weapon equipped while you actually do the finisher. That really doesn't matter at all for us because we are an assault class. We have no primary, but if you're playing like Vanguard or something, you have to keep that in mind. So, you know, that's why I mentioned it here. That's pretty much all there is for the weapon perk tree besides the Headhunter Extended Magazine Divine Might. Unfortunately, the bolt pistol perk tree is kind of boring, but it's also very strong. And just like most perks in this game, some of these weapon perk trees could use a rework because there's really no real choice here. You just go for Elite Hunter because it's way better than a perk like Rapid Health on this build. And that's pretty much all there is for the weapon selection. Now, for the perk tree, we do pick up the perk Overcharge here. Damage from charged melee attacks increases by 25%. This perk, like I said before, is fixed now. It will give your overcharge, or excuse me, it will overcharge your power rake by 25% damage. And I also want to mention that overcharge is a better perk than people think it actually is. It'll affect your kick on your chainsword, your bash on your chainsword, even your stomp. This will affect pretty much every heavy attack in the game. really powerful perk on every class that's on, which is only 2 for Bulwark and Assault, but either way, I do grab this. I'm going for like a full stomp build or something like that, which we kind of are today, at least for our power rig. Next perk here is Auxiliary Arsenal. Secondary weapons damage increases by 20%. This perk, combined with the perk down here, Practice Aim, for a 35% range damage boost, makes your secondary weapon hit like a truck. And with the bolt pistol buffs, this thing can down a Zoanthrope super easily, especially when it actually procs the Elite Hunter perk. So when this thing goes off at like full, like, you know, it fires on all cylinders, you will just nuke down a Zoanthrope super easily. Super fun to use as well. So Auxiliary Arsenal is kind of my preferred perk these days. Though if you want to take Defense Mechanism versus like Chaos or something, that's definitely a better option, I think, for that. Next perk here is Active Attrition. Enemies hit by damage from melee attacks executed while sprinting or dashing they take 25. So I was retake that one. Next perk here is Active Attrition. Enemies hit by damage from melee attacks executed while sprinting or dashing take 25% more damage for 5 seconds. They actually changed this perk from what it was previously, which was a 15% damage buff on any melee attack for 3 seconds. That was not a horrific perk for things like the Fencing Power Axe and stuff like that, but overall, 3 seconds is not like a super long uptime, and a 25% damage buff for like 1 sprinting attack for a 5-second uptime is significantly better. I also believe this will debuff the enemy still for your entire team, not just you. So 5 seconds of 25% damage buff for your whole team, pretty damn good. And like I said before, great synergy with Master of Offense. Next perk here, Strategic Strikes. All of your squad members deal 20% more melee damage against Extremis and Terminus level enemies. 20% more melee damage is 20% more melee damage. This perk is great with the Power Sword because you will just slap up bosses and Terminus, the bosses and Extremis like nobody's business. This perk has always been super fun to use on any melee focus build. Now, if you want to take Proven Efficiency, you definitely can because this perk is still amazing, and the perk up here, Squad Cohesion, sucks. Next perk is Smiting Angel. Ground pound's damage increases by 25%. Moving down here into the perk Zealous Blow, a ground pound kill restores jump packs charged by 10%. And of course, Pride and Duty. After a finisher, ground pound deals 25% more damage for 10 seconds. Now, the reason I take this perk combo here is because you get the maximum AoE of your ground pound on top of having the highest potential to trigger your Zealous Blow procs here over things like Hammer of Wrath even, or Persistent Strike. And Zealous Blow is simply an incredible perk for both Chaos and Tyranids, because being able to like jump on Chaos spawn and do free damage, and there's like any Minoris around them whatsoever like Cultists, is super incredible. Now, I prefer Pride and Duty over Diligence because Pride and Duty just gives you a 25% buff for 10 seconds off of any finisher whatsoever, even versus Minoris. And for you to get a 20% damage buff on your ground pound from Diligence, you do have to charge up your attack. Now, if you're unaware, charging up your ground pound without this perk does literally nothing for your damage, so I prefer this perk because of that, because basically you just go up for like 1 second and immediately come back down, and this one you actually have to sit up in the air for a while. And even though I do take the perk Unyielding Oath, I still think this one is better, because the main reason I take this is for some utility, because there are times where I simply want to like wait a second or just like go through an enemy attack and stuff like that. This gives you that option, but having that like instantaneous damage is just why I like Pride and Duty more. Final perk I grab here is Amplified Ammunition. Any use of a jump pack reloads the equipped ranged weapon, increases damage by 50% for 10 seconds. This perk is incredible. 50% bonus range damage on top of the Auxiliary Arsenal and Practice Aim on top of Elite Hunter is kind of insane. You'll go into like the face of Zoanthrope and just nuke him down in 2 seconds. Great perk, far better than, say, a perk like this, Ascension, that is dog shit. And Commitment is really good. I just don't find much value for it unless I'm using Wings of Flame, so I take this one today. Now, for the prestige perks here, I do take Unyielding Oath first. When charging a ground pound, you become invulnerable for 3 seconds. This perk just gives you a ton of utility for the reasons I previously mentioned, and the next perk I grab is Adrenaline Boost. After a perfectly timed parry, block, or dodge, you don't lose control from heavy hits and can't be knocked back for 10 seconds. This perk is amazing. It will save your life all the time. This is pretty much a must-take for like any block weapon, because otherwise you will get stun locked at times, and the #1 way to die in Space Marine 2 is getting stun locked into like a super heavy hit or something like that. So pretty much always grab this. And the final 2 perks I grab are Fortitude for extra HP and Practice Aim for the reasons I previously mentioned. That's pretty much all there is for this build, guys. The Block Power Sword is still one of the best weapons in this game. Now, I do think it is below the Block Power Axe currently. I'll probably make another build for this at some point, but these 2 weapons are still very strong. Still top tier choices for sure, and hopefully this build guide helped you. And if you like content like this, try for more, and as always, take it easy. Bye.
Feed us,
Oh shit.
But the Imperium is indomitable.
Regular bolt pistol firepower variant hits like a truck. Very strong. Alright, that's just gotta go. Them running you over, like you can't even perfect dodge that. I mean you can, but you don't get like a gun strike or anything. So the camera play is just not quite there.
That goes has to see the coolant rods are revealed. It's Xenos' brain did not grant it the wisdom to flee.
Elements of the cooling rod array are cloaked.
I'm actually so happy I found shock nades there. Oh, more. Oh my god, why doesn't they give me this every time? Shock nades make this portion way more manageable solo. This is the only part of the mission I don't particularly like on the new operation, I think.
Access granted the Bridge Council.
I'm airborne ready. The Imperium's hammer rises to strike. Another alien falls for the Imperium's blade. Jump pack refuel. Avenging angel, your disposal. Me as an angel of death. The Xenos infiltration is our duty calls us to the second array. Jump pack refuel. The world this Xenos sought to consume now consumes its carcass. Commencing reload. My war gear is satisfied.
Bro, change his username. Need to get baseline this good. It's actually pretty strong versus these guys. At this build, Overcharge is definitely harder to use than Armor Reinforcement is, but like, of course it's gonna be. Armor Reinforcement really does make these guys kind of a breeze. Oh, actually, this is nice of it. Maybe one of these. Can I jump back over there? What the fuck? Help!
The enemy summons.
We'll get back up, chat.
I am airborne ready. Their numbers are meaningless slots. Swapping magazine. That pitiful Xenos was but no horror.
My jump pack got me into this mess, so get me out.
Jump pack refueled. No rods remain active.
Temperatures at critical level. Plasma reactors shutting down to prevent catastrophic detonation.
Talassa, do not let the reactors cool down. This cruiser will soon perform its final task.
That was interesting.
Proceed to the decks below and force the plasma reactors to overheat.
Let us descend to the reactor chamber. Avenging angel at your disposal. Huh.
Oh, that's such a cool execute.
Another alien falls to the Imperium's shield blade. Commencing reload. I'm airborne ready. Wrath downgrade. Xenos, we are the exterminators. Reloading.
Oh, he dumped his body over the side. That was cool. I was happy the Rippers down there didn't kill me. Can I do that again?
Jump pack refuel.
Alright, that was a teamwork. They deserved that one.
The Imperium's hammer rises to strike. The Xenos scum should have remained in hiding. Avenging angel at your disposal.
Flip that and send it to the devs so they make sure it's in the full release on patch 11.
Talassa, have you
It's a shame the Xenophase blade is balanced. I wish they gave us the option to make either fencing balance or block. You know a lot of other people do.
These corridors bear the scars of war, but we have heard nothing from our brother.
A lot of people want... Like, balance in this game is just not a very fun weapon type to use. Feels very clunky.
Heat from the plasma reactors will roast them in their
Kind of
foul
forces you into a very
practices.
particular playstyle.
This is ill-advised, Talassa. If you do not rig the reactor to detonate, the cyclonic war
Rippers as regular enemies such Minoras would be awful. Yeah, I do not disagree. It would be pretty bad.
Octavio, unleash the Emperor.
There's a reason they're only like one part of the campaign.
Vermin. Another alien falls to the Imperium's key. Reloading magazine. I am airborne ready.
How would I change the balance of fence type? I haven't really given this a lot of thought. All I know is it needs to be changed. I'm not the one to come up with an idea for it though. Not right now.
From the forge.
Maybe later. Maybe one day.
A tunneling Xenos borrows from them. Trade them. Take flight and let terror fall. The ground rumbles no more. Jump pack refuel.
Talassa, we have lost contact with Heraton leader, and Octavio is pinned down. You must destabilize the plasma reactor. Our brothers from Phaedrus and Heraton shall not have died in vain.
Should be a boss fight down here,
Reach the
maybe.
plasma reactor units. pitiful Xenos is but no horrid blood. Finishing firepower.
Very rude of that guy to go enraged on me.
These
All right.
servitors performed
There it
their
is.
programmed duties until they were cut down.
Where is it?
Attention. Authorized personnel only beyond this point. Provide sufficient ocular scan authorization in order to
Avenging
proceed.
Angel.
Security protocols dictate that only cleared principal servitors have entry authorization.
The machine spirit requires us to scan the lead servitor's eyes. The hive mind systems are revolting. Swapping magazine. Another alien falls to the Imperium's key blade. Jump pack refueled.
There must be some remains we neglected to scan.
Oh, yeah. Power roll says different sometimes.
The Xenos infestation.
So, literally, because we had a damage buff there. You're not wrong.
I am
Right, that's-
airborne ready.
Oh, that's rude. But a point blank is there.
Faith Brothers, one of these deceased servitors has the authorization we need.
Oh, kind of where I wanted to go.
My war gear is set. Reloading.
Kind of where I wanted to go.
Jump pack refueled. That pitiful Xenos was but no horrid blunt. Replenishing firepower.
There must be some remains we neglected to scan.
Swapping magazine. Avenging Angel at your disposal. The Xenos infestation is stemmed. Commencing reload.
Faith Brothers, one of these deceased servitors has the authorization we need.
Jump pack refueled. I am the righteous storm. Another alien falls to the Imperium's key blade.
There must be some remains we neglected to scan.
I am airborne ready. Take flight and let terror fall.
Right, the bramble is trying to annoy me.
Xenos was but no horrid
Hey, we crumped him. That would make the orcs proud.
The armory provides.
Servitors, we have one last task for you.
Aren't all attacks you hold melee for considered charged? Yes, as far as I know, basketball is true. As far as like what attacks overcharge actually affects,
This servitor's
it's the
eyeballs grant
kick,
us access.
stomp, bash on the chainsword, the power whirl, and the power backstep. No, the chain whirl and the power backstep of the power axe, the power rake of the power sword, and the ground slam and aftershock of the thunderhammer. It's not on knife, so
Ocular biometrics confirmed. Maintenance grade Delta Mu 2839. Access granted.
Yes.
they got
This
Space
servitor's
Marines in the
eyeballs
Bible.
grant us
Yeah,
access.
dude, Space Marines came from a prophet. You think this shit's man-made? You think humans can come up with fiction this cool? Divinely inspired, dumbass.
Me as an angel, the only aid to this filth will be their cleansing.
Space Marine is 40k is divinely inspired.
Xenos hunger is insatiable, but their will is indomitable.
Is it every heavy attack? Yeah. So those are all the heavy attacks, pretty much. But it doesn't affect this. The overcharge perk will do nothing for this. It's only this. The heavy attack here.
Jump pack refueled.
I can't wait to heavy attack these guys one day. That is the power sword block thing. Oh no, boss fight. Yeah, there's no boss fight yet. That's the overcharge build, and damage is pretty strong on that. Is a little dangerous at times just because you don't get the armor reinforcement, but super fun to use. Hopefully, that was a good enough showcase of it.